Hello, folks. Welcome back to AFTER. This is Chris. Do you hear that labored breathing? Yeah, that's a consequence of wearing a nappy, a diaper on your face. That's right. Well, congratulations to the totalitarian fascists who have significantly accomplished their goals with empty virtue signaling in things like wearing a mask. Yes, I'm sitting in my studio right here now, not a single human being within hundreds of meters of me, and I'm wearing a mask. Why? Because they've terrified me into thinking that a mask will protect me in my home against a virus that isn't in my home. That's right, folks. Only I'm not that stupid. All right, so let's talk about this, folks. Well, congratulations to the fascists, the totalitarian constitutional violators, people who undermine our constitutional rule of law, people like the Governor Tom Wolf of Pennsylvania, whose actions were declared unconstitutional back in August, yet he's doubled down with more nonsensical, unscientific idiocy, and it's working. It's working. I went out earlier today, or yesterday, I should say. I went out earlier yesterday, and I drove to a local shopping center. And in that shopping center, I walked through a parking lot, and I saw people wearing their mask hundreds of feet, a couple hundred meters away from anyone else, wearing their mask. What are you catching there? Walking around in the open. There's no requirement to wear a mask in public. Certainly not a requirement to wear a mask when you are 150 meters away from another person. A cough, a sneeze cannot travel that far. Yet the indoctrination, the brainwashing of the public, and especially of our children. Have you seen that creepy video with Michigan's Governor Gretchen Whitmer? My God, the Wicked Witch of the West was much less frightening than her. Oh, Gretchen Whitmer abusing Santa Claus to brainwash and indoctrinate children. Listen, when we inculcate values in children, teach them the Pledge of Allegiance or the national anthem, that's one thing. That's civics, that's responsibility, and that's love of country. But when you indoctrinate children to drop dimes and narc on their parents if their parents don't do what's prescribed by people who believe in witchcraft and muti, not in science, people like Gretchen Whitmer and Jay Inslee and Tom Wolf, Andrew Cuomo, Bill de Blasio, with their empty, bankrupt virtue signaling. Ladies and gentlemen, wearing this mask, let me talk about this mask. So yesterday, went shopping. And I had my mask on, of course, but not outside. Why would I wear a mask outside? I'm not near anyone. I'm not going to get anything, right? So I walk into a store and people wearing the mask converging to the store. Every one of them wearing the mask. It protects you. It's magical. This is a magical barrier that will protect you from Wuhan coronavirus. You'll never get it if you wear this magical mask. Only this isn't even a medical mask. It's just a piece of cloth. It's sheer lunacy. And to see people ostracized, to see people called names because they refuse to wear this in a place where it's unnecessary, like out in public, in the open, in a parking lot. It's comical. Throughout my life, I've listened to nonsense like when you see someone cross the street, when they see thugs on a corner, and they're called racist. Why? Because the thugs on the corner happen to be black, and the other people oftentimes are white, sometimes they're black. They go on the opposite side of the street so as to avoid a conflict, and then they're called racist. Well, what is it when someone goes out of their way to avoid walking near me, to cross in front of a street, nearly be hit by a car because they're not paying attention, not in a crosswalk, to avoid coming within 20 meters of me? Is that racist? Is that bigotry? Is that stupid? Or is it good just judgment? Good judgment. Frankly, folks, I saw hundreds of people walking around with masks the entire time. Not in stores, which is where it's required by guidelines. Not law, by the way, folks. Those aren't laws. That's not a law. That's a guideline. It's not required. It is required in a store by guidelines imposed by the unconstitutional orders of the governor of Pennsylvania. I comply with that unconstitutional order. Why? Because I know that the empty virtue signaling of mask wearing makes people feel better. Now, before you think this is an anti-mask street, it's not. It's not. I have no objection to people wearing proper N95 masks in appropriate circumstances. It makes all the sense in the world. It certainly does help people in those circumstances. But the reality is this empty virtue signaling, wearing of diapers on your face doesn't accomplish things when people do the following. Right. So here we go, folks. This is what I'm talking about. Walking into a department store with a mask on, sitting in your car wearing the mask, getting out of your car, walking through a parking lot with the mask on, and walking over to the door of the department store. And what do? They reach down with their bare hands, not wearing gloves, and they touch the door handle to open the door. What about the 3,500 people who walked through that door in the last 2 hours? Odds are somebody had COVID-19. Odds are they shed virus particles by doing that. Yet that store is allowed to be open while restaurants in New York are closed. Touch the door while wearing your mask. Walk inside and then frantically scramble. See, this thing's trying to cover up my eyes here, folks. Can't wear it properly. Frantically scramble to try to get one of the trolleys or carts. We call them shopping carts here in America. Try to get one of the shopping carts that's available because they're so busy in the store and there's so many people there because people haven't been shopping at all because of this hysteria that the store is overwhelmed with customers. The parking lots are full. Grab the door with your bare hand, pick up the virus particles, walk in the door. Oh, I'll take that trolley from you. I'll take that cart. Put your hands down on the handles to push it through the store. Your bare hands that someone else who just touched it with their bare hands and gripped it and was sweating on it, maybe wiping their nose, maybe coughing as they walked around the store. Then walking over to the jewelry counter and you're seeing people, who've just touched this fragrance that's on sale next to the jewelry counter. You see them put it down and you pick it up. Seriously? Seriously, people? You think this is going to protect you when you walk in and touch doors that other people have touched? Why not push the door open like this or reach down with your arm like this and move it? That's what I do. That's what I've always done. I'm not a germaphobe. Just know where people's hands are and how seldom people use proper hygiene. Yet you're going to convince me that I must wear this to protect myself when people are walking around not even protecting themselves on the most basic level because they don't know anything about science. They don't know anything about health and public health. And they believe the nonsense, the dangerous nonsense coming out of the mouths of politicians. Folks, this is disheartening. The brainwashing of our children by people like Gretchen Whitmer, using Santa Claus to indoctrinate children. Wash your hands. Social distance. Stay away from people. What's that all about? We were told that was antisocial behavior before. Idiocy. Indoctrinating our children and brainwashing adults who seem to think that this little piece of cloth that they wear day after day, breathe into, full of germs and bacteria, is safe. Never mind those who have difficulty with lung disease, cancer, asthma, tuberculosis. How easy is it to breathe something like this in your face? Stop the empty virtue signaling, folks. Wear your mask when it's appropriate. Wear a proper mask. But wearing this, walking into a department store where people are touching the doors and touching their nose, rubbing their eyes after the fact, is stupid. It's moronic. And if you think I'm making it up, you're mistaken. I watched people. I observed people doing exactly the things I just said. I didn't touch door handle. I didn't touch my face. When I had to scratch, this is what I did, right there. But now you see people doing this stuff. After touching a door handle, touching trolley handles, picking up products other people have touched. And they think they're magically protected. Do you wonder why the virus spreads? It spreads because of bad public policy like this that doesn't talk about full measures. This is empty virtue. Do you know why they do this? Because you can observe this. You can see people wearing a mask or not wearing a mask, and then you can ostracize and you can demonize the people who don't wear a mask. That's why they do it. But you can't demonize every person who touches a handle or touches a product someone else touched. Can you now? This idiocy has to end. Now we see European countries like Belgium, the Netherlands, and Austria saying that no flights from the UK. Meanwhile, Germany and France still allow flights from the UK, although France has just shut down the border crossing for goods, trying to starve the Brits out. Probably has a lot more to do with Brexit and their anger over Brexit than it does with legitimate COVID concerns. Yeah, probably a lot more to do with Brexit anger than it does to with Wuhan coronavirus. But I could fly to Denmark and drive to Germany, or fly to Germany or Luxembourg and drive to Belgium. Do you see the idiocy of this? All over a few changes in the RNA of the virus. Newsflash. RNA changes all the time in viruses. It always mutates. That's natural development. Charles Darwin told us about this in Origin of the Species. And you morons are just waking up to it 130 years later. Wake up. Stop being sheeple, folks. Stop falling for the stupidity. This is virtue signaling. Don't ostracize people who use common sense walking around outside 200 meters from anyone else without wearing a mask. Don't ostracize them for their good judgment. And question your own judgment when you do this and then you touch things you shouldn't be touching. Anyway, folks, if you're not subscribed to Chris White Africa, take a moment, smash the subscription button right down there. Be sure to toggle the bell icon to get notified updates. And if you'd like to leave a comment, please do. Abusive comments will be deleted. And finally, I ask that you smash the like button because likes drive viewership. God bless, Merry Christmas, and don't fall for the nonsense. God bless, folks.